evening and welcome to the fifth in a series of Independence Caucus candidate interviews. We're here this evening with Rick Torres. Rick is a resident of Bridgeport, the owner of Harborview Market, and a former candidate for mayor in Bridgeport. We're honored to have you here this evening, and we appreciate very much your willingness to engage with leaders in the grassroots movement that's grown so much in Connecticut and throughout the nation this past year. I'm going to ask the committee members to introduce themselves, and then we'll give you just a moment to make a statement. I'll start with myself. I'm Sherry Harris. I've lived in Easton and been a member of the Republican Town Committee there for over 20 years. And I'm here tonight through the 912ers of Southern Connecticut, which was started by Linda, who's in the room here, and has over 200 members today. So we'll start down and go with Mickey.
Hi, my name is Mickey LaCrosse. I am actually registered independent, have been all my life, and have just recently become a lot more active with my dislike of things that are happening in the country and the feeling that we need to come together and make some changes. So I'm here and I'm very happy to represent the 912 group as well.
Hello, I'm Hector Guerra. I'm from Shelton. I have lived here about 90 years. I'm originally from Cuba, and I am more of an independent than anything else. I'm also part of this group of 912 groups of Shelton.
Tricia Galloway from Trumbull. My husband and I have been quite active in state politics for 5 years or so. Recently got involved with Tea Party groups in 912, and a couple of weeks ago, well, actually I guess 3 weeks or so ago, got elected for the first time for my Republican Town Committee as a committee member, so that's an experience.
My name is Linda Carreri, and I've lived in Stamford all my life. My grandfather came from Italy to Stamford, and I have not really been active, but I've always tried to stay informed. But this past year has been an interesting ride, and I'm part of the 912 group and Independence Caucus, and learning a lot. Thank you for coming.
Okay, great. So why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Well, you know, everything that I've heard so far pretty much identifies the reasons that I'm involved. I've been a politician in the past, meaning that I've run for office. I haven't held elected office. I ran for mayor in the city of Bridgeport, principally because it got so intolerable to live there under the conditions that had existed. Joe Ganim had, as you all know, famously stolen from our city, embarrassed us nationally, and I got to the point that I didn't feel I could trust politicians that had been part of this process, and I was compelled to run for mayor. And I did very well. In a city that's 6-to-1 Democrat-Republican, I garnered 43% of the vote. I am the largest fundraiser in recent Bridgeport history in the last 30 years, and most significantly, I think, I got a wonderful education out of that loss. I'm a great believer in analyzing failure and learning from your failure. Bridgeport taught me the power of Acorn. Acorn killed me. They literally won. They beat me on election day. Our polling had us even, if not me, up by a few points. And Acorn on election day spent $100,000 and wiped me out. They were amazing. They had great organization. They had buses full of people. They had limousines everywhere. And my campaign, my very honorable campaign, made up of very honorable human beings, both Democrat and Republican, believe it or not, that supported me. We lost that race because of Acorn. Now getting back to why I'm doing this now. Here I am, I wake up yet again, and my compulsion is that I hear Barack speak the way he does, I hear Hillary speak the way she did, and I'm hearing in my ears, in my very sensitive ears, socialist sensitive ears, socialism coming our way. And that inspires me to get back into this. And I worry that people like me, and you, in fact, very honorable people, not get involved. You got involved, I'm involved, for the exact same reasons. I've experienced socialism twice in my life. As the gentleman says, he's from Cuba. So am I. I'm born here in 1959, and my father took us all in an effort to return to Cuba because he assumed that Fidel Castro was replacing a tyrant, liberating a country. Bad assumption. Within months of being there, my father applied to leave, and it took us 5 years to get out. But I did learn about socialism, and I've learned it because most of my family's still there. I returned on 2 separate visits. One, as a liberal, as a Che Guevara follower. Imagine that. Much to my father's chagrin. I never got an opportunity to apologize to my dad. But my dad did liberate my brother and I. He brought us back into this country in 1967. But the only solution for us back then was to return to essentially what was public housing. So that's when I experienced socialism for the second time. Government largesse. And what I can tell you from my experience, both experiences, is that socialism is a miserable system that is not about people, but it is about control. It is about power in the hands of the few and the many to support the few. I have a cute story about Cuba. I went there in 1991 with $1,000. In 1991, I forget how old I was, about 23. And I went to visit my brother, who was the curator of a museum. I had $1,000 in my pocket that I had earned in the summertime. And I went there, and my brother earned 260 pesos a month. And here's the funny part. The exchange rate was 20 pesos per dollar, meaning that I was carrying around 20,000 pesos in my pocket. 6.5 years of salary for my brother, a curator of a museum. So when idiots like Michael Moore tell you that that is the system that we must emulate, imagine what he's telling you. What he's telling you is that the government takes everything from you, and then they give you scraps back. No wonder that they can provide health care, even though it is among the worst in the world, the dirtiest in the world. No wonder that they can provide you with housing that is embarrassing to any American to live in. You know, it's no wonder that they can provide food, if you can call it that. Okay? Rations of meat, this big for a family of 4, this big. Is that what we want for our future? That is why I'm here today. I'm here today not as an expert in politics or an expert in economics. I am self-taught in these areas. My background is in biology, biochemistry. That was my area once, and I knew it really well. Right now, I have focused my life on learning economics to the best of my ability. I'm not there completely yet, but I do have good friends that are helping me, people that are teaching me. I call myself a permanent student. I want to learn every day of my life until they put me under the ground. I believe in education. I believe that there's a certain level of liberty associated with education, so long if it's us that chooses the education, not when government chooses.